It would be appropriate for me to present my ex-wife as 32 years old Jennifer and myself as 38 years old Mike. Me and my wife have been happily married for about 7 years, and we had an amazing marriage. After a lot of experiences with different types of girlfriends, I finally found the one. We met at a bus stop where she was waiting for her company vehicle. I was amazed by her looks. She had blonde hair. Basically, I was attracted to her as soon as I saw her. I walked to her and tried to chat with her. We exchanged numbers and started meeting at different times. As soon as we met, I noticed that we had much in common in terms of sense of humor, likes and dislikes. We were both crazy about the same. We dated for almost 2 years and then got married. During our sexual life together, she was just as wild as I was, and we both had an amazing time together. The fact that she always cooks anything I like, even though she wasn't used to cooking, but she learned it with all her dedications. Just because of me is what makes her so special. We had no kids. The reason we decided to do this was because we said when we were ready, we would do it as the time became right. We would do it as our finances improved to where we were both comfortable, but now it was not possible for both of us. So all the mess started 6 months ago when I noticed that Jennifer was getting ready, like she was going to meet someone special, and constantly her cell was beeping. I was also getting ready for the job. I found that weird, so I joked with her and asked, "Why are you receiving so many messages today? Are you going on a date?" "I'm not kidding you. You're cheating on me." My wife's face turned pale when I said this to her. I remembered the expression on her face is as if she was astonished at what she had just heard. The pit of my stomach was filled with a disgusting feeling. Thereafter, Jennifer said, "Yes, I'm going out on a date and certainly would like you to join me." Ha ha ha, and just came to me and started kissing me. Then she started having with me, and I asked her if she was planning to get late for work, and she replied, "No, hell, I want to fuck you and then I'll go to work. This is much more important than the office." After that, she headed to work, but I was still thinking about that even after we finished, and she was departed. After that, I ignored it and did not question her further, making excuses like it is creepy to ask her to look at her phone or should trust her more. In spite of this, I felt like something wasn't right. During the following week, I noticed my wife was returning home later than usual. When I asked her about it, she said she was working hard on some upcoming projects that were much more challenging than her old ones. In response to my question about the projects, she replied in a strange manner that she was very tired and wanted to sleep. Now on that day, she had not even had dinner, and yet she wanted to sleep. The next morning, she got up and drove to work. When she got back to home, I smelled a strong scent of male when I hugged her. Then I grew suspicious, and it was a red flag this time. For the first time, I decided to invade her privacy. In my mind, I was trying to figure out how to get in. As a matter of fact, I had not even thought of doing that before. Finally, I asked her whether she had met anyone or where she was. There was a lot of shock on her face, like someone was revealing her lie. "There's no one special, so why are you asking this question? It seemed to me that you had met someone today because you had a strong scent from a man, so I thought you might have met someone." Then she replied, "Oh yes. How can I forget that I ran into my old pal Eddie a long while ago. Eddie lived near my parents' house and he was a long-time friend of mine." Her answer convinced me that she was telling the truth. It was while I was getting ready for dinner that she got fresh in the washroom. Her cell phone kept beeping, so I told her to check her phone. So she checked it. All things were suspicious to me. During dinner, I noticed that she was distracted by her cell phone while she was using it. Then after dinner was finished, for the sake of my own satisfaction, I decided to take a look at her phone. When I asked her to lend me her phone, she quickly perked up and asked, "What for?" My response was, "I just wanted to look at it. There is something up. There is a problem with my cell phone. I have an urgent job to do." So I would appreciate if you could give me your phone for a minute. She said she had to go to bathroom and just quickly stormed away to the bathroom and locked the door. It was another sign for me that we were very sexually open. We had never locked the bathroom or even closed it before that day. Even we were taking a dump. In fact, it shocked me so much that I stood there just fucking frozen in place. As it dawned on me that she was cheating on me, a small part of me still hoped it wasn't true. After all, I hadn't seen any proof yet. She came out of bathroom like an hour later and gave me her phone. She said I could use it and sorry that she locked the bathroom. She did not want me to smell it too bad since it was a big shit, which was weird since I had never gave a fuck before. Anyways, I looked through and did not see any messages, but I still felt weird about this. Next night, when I figured out how to retrieve deleted text from her phone, I took her phone. When she was sleeping, I logged into her cloud. It was difficult to get it without a password. Even though I recall opening her email once with the password she gave me, I used the same password for iCloud and it opened by chance. She used the same password for everything and there I saw bulk of deleted messages. I felt my heart shattered as soon as I saw the messages, and my legs started to weak. There was illicit messages dating back to 6 months ago from that day, and it included the whole packages, sexting, nude beings, sent, and whole bunch of shit that I don't even want to think about. The worst part is I knew the guy she was sleeping with. It was one of her colleagues, Cavill. Though I was not close to him, I knew how he looked into a few pictures of the office party, and I was also aware that he was a married man. I felt like crying at first, but soon I felt so angry that I also wanted to smash the phone on the wall. I made a backup and saved all the text messages, sent it to myself as proof. I put the cell phone back and I took the car and drove to the nearest bar. I drank a lot and cried my heart away. I felt so broken and I just wanted to kill Jennifer and her colleague. Then I realized her face was smiling, how happy she was while cheating on me. I felt pure hate and anger towards her. I was determined to destroy her. In the fire of anger had burned me. I wanted bloody revenge on those two violated my trust. That bitch was going to be destroyed by me. After getting worried calls from my wife, I returned home and she questioned me, panicking about where I had been and what was going on. I don't even know how I managed to do it. Well, all I did was I smile and say, I went to meet an old friend. It was a long night out of the house for me. She bought it, we had breakfast and I left for the office and requested a leave of absence. I have an amazing boss and I pretty much just told him what was going on. He said okay and gave me 3 weeks of vacation leave, which I was grateful for since I would get paid. It would have been fine to take a leave of absence without pay as well. I talked to a lawyer about making divorce papers. Then I arranged to have cameras installed in my home. My bedroom is equipped with a spy camera that I have set up. My wife came home surprisingly earlier than usual when she saw me. My heart ached when she hugged me, but it was the scariest hug ever and I hated it the most. Then we sat down to eat and Jennifer initiated sex that day, but I felt disgusted and did not even want to look at her. Therefore, I told her that I was tired and let her know that I wasn't even interested today. So she kept asking me what was wrong and tried again, but I just kept saying later. Finally, we both went to bed and we both woke up the next morning. I told Jennifer that I was leaving the house for 2 days to hang out with my friends because I was feeling depressed. It was part of my plan to allow her to call her colleagues at home. I was certain she would do the same. I saw happiness on her face when I told her about my vacation. However, I was away from my house for 2 days. In reality, I was on vacation with my friends because at home I was literally killing myself because of her unflattering and fake smile and her love for me. Initially, I felt a bit relieved, but it wasn't enough. Even though I was out of the house, the thoughts of Jennifer's messages and pictures disturbed me. I went back home after 2 days and checked the camera recording since I expected her colleague to fuck her behind me. It was done by them as well. It was getting out of control and I had no control over it. The time had come for me to complete everything in accordance with my plan to get revenge by completing everything. I told Jennifer we had to arrange a grand party at home because I am getting a promotion. When she heard that, she got surprised and jumped. She hugged and kissed me with happiness. I was just wondering in my heart, is she for real? It is hard to understand how she could do that while cheating on me and pretending that she is extremely happy with my promotion. I told her to make a list of guests in her office. When I started doing that, she asked me to create a list of what I needed to do. In response to her, I said I had already made my plans and I was awaiting hers. I reminded her to invite all her colleagues. Suddenly, she called out the name of the colleagues with whom she had been sleeping. Her face got pale. After that, she got nervous. In spite of this, she made a whole list and gave it to me. It happened and I got the number of Cavill's wife and invited her to the party. Despite her refusal, I insisted I tell her about Cavill. She agreed. After that, I called Jennifer's parents and all of her friends. Dinner and all the decorations were arranged by me. The day of the event, all of the guests, including all family members and colleagues of Jennifer, came. I set up a screen in the garden so that we could all watch a few pictures on the screen. While Jennifer was sitting beside me, I played screenshots of the chat Cavill and Jennifer were having. It was then that I played the video of both of them that was recorded by the spy camera. Jennifer started shouting, "Stop this, please. Stop this, Mike. I can explain." Cavill was there with her husband, and her wife started crying and shouting at him. She even began to beat him badly as she got angry with him. During that time, I remembered that Jennifer was literally asking me to shut off the system. However, I laughed and played the video over and over again in front of everyone while she was begging me to do so. The moment when she received the highest level of insult from her friends, family, and colleagues was a moment when I felt a sense of satisfaction and happiness. In the end, I just shut down and started laughing very hard. Her mother was very religious. She was a hardcore Catholic. It was a sin according to her. She started shouting at her and said to her that she had destroyed everything. Jennifer literally was on her knees and begged me to forgive her. It was just a mistake and it couldn't happen again. She said she would do whatever you asked. But please forgive me. When I suddenly got mad at her, I threw a cake on her face as a mean of expressing my anger, then slapped her on the face with a hard blow. Afterwards, I slapped divorce papers on her face and told her mother to get the fuck out of my house as soon as possible. I couldn't tolerate anyone being in my house, including her. Jennifer came back to me and said, "How could you forget all 7 years we were married?" Started hugging me and telling me that we could talk about it. I threw a punch at her and told her that I did not want to see her face. "And you were talking about talk? So stay away from me, bitch. It isn't possible for you to do this to me since I am not leaving the house. The house belongs to me. Don't make me do something worse and get out of my house before I do anything else." It was then that her mother came and she was escorted along with her to her house. Since that day, I don't even know where she is and what she's doing on a daily basis. This is because I have no relationship with such a slut and don't know what she's doing. In order to get rid of that characterless woman, I blocked her first and then changed my personal number. The fact that I live alone is good for me. Stay tuned for more interesting stories by subscribing to the channel and hit the bell icon.